Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to the Minecraft 2025 Let's Play Adventure, where today is Sunday, August the 17th, and Sundays are our fun days, or our don't have to run days. And we're not going to run today. In fact, today, I've been thinking long and hard about what I want to do, and I've landed on one conclusion. I'm gonna go fishing. I'm not joking. That's what I want to do today. There's a lot of different tasks that we have ahead of us, a lot of different plans, dreams, schemes, hopes, and whatnots that we need to attend to. I even collected a bunch of bees, and I thought, you know, we could do a bees Sunday, where we put down all those new beehives, and maybe even build that. And I was like, you know what? That's a project day sort of a thing. That's not a fun day sort of a thing. You know what I want to do? I want to get out the Harbinger of the Depths, go plant myself over here, and just fish, because I miss it. When we very first started playing this, some of you might remember that I realized that I had a liking for fishing in Minecraft. Did not mean to reload shaders, also it shouldn't be bound to that key anymore, but the keyboard bindings keep getting messed up, so I guess on occasion that's going to happen until I take a second to go ahead and correct that. So that mistake shouldn't happen again. Now you might be thinking, Reese, what else are we going to do today? Are we actually just going to fish? Well, yeah. For one thing, we are going to just fish, and we're going to see what we get as a result, keeping in mind that we've got basically the best fishing rod you can get. Luck of the Sea 2. Does it go higher than that? Lure 3, Unbreaking 3, Mending. Luck of the Sea does go up to 3, and we've only got Luck of the Sea 2, which is disappointing. Do we have a better one, or do we have another Luck of the Sea 2 that we could bind to this one? I don't know. It's possible if we went inside, we could throw another fishing rod into the enchantment table and see what we get, and maybe we go do that. You might think, though, that, okay, I see where this is going. What Reese has actually done is he's prepared a discussion topic for us to talk about while he fishes in Minecraft. I have not. I've just now come to the conclusion that I might want to go see if I can get Luck of the Sea 3, but no, in fact, I've not planned any discussion topics. I got nothing I want to talk about. I don't want to do anything but fish in Minecraft. That is the plan for today. I'm not trying to sell myself short here or trick you or lead you astray. There is no broader goal. There is no achievement to unlock. There is no great wish to fulfill. I just want to go catch fish. And I want to see what I get. And yeah, right now, I guess what we're doing is we're going to go toss this into the enchantment table and see what we can get for it. But ultimately, adding Unbreaking 3, Luck of the Sea 1, I mean, you know what? We'll send it. We'll see what happens. Toss it in there. It got Luck of the Sea 3. Okay, well, folks. What about Lure? What does Lure even do? I forget what the different... I think Luck of the Sea increases what you get, but Lure decreases time between bites. And combining them together would be the easiest thing to do, for an enchantment cost of 33 levels. And you know what? Yeah, that's just what we're going to do. Because we had 70 levels. We had an absurd number of levels to begin with, so why wouldn't we just do that? I've also not slept since last episode, so I'm going to go upstairs and have a nap. We're going to resume fishing with our 2 raw salmon and our pufferfish. Alright, beautiful day. Beautiful new day. Beautiful new, best of the best fishing rod, with everything on it you could possibly want. Let's discuss. What do we want to talk about? We want to talk about Switch 2? We've talked about Switch 2 a lot in this series. I think the first time we talked about it was when we were disassembling the boat. That is no longer here. I have it now. I have Mario Kart. I haven't played it much. In fact, I went back to Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on the Switch 2, and I've just been playing that, basically just exploring the map. That was a Nautilus shell. That's a great find. Basically just exploring the map and killing some of the big tyrants, collecting various items, because we are planning on going back into that game. Right now, my plan on the Howdy Folks LP channel is I want to wrap up what is currently going on with Nier, so we're going to do all the different Nier replicant endings. As of recording this video, I'm on ending B still, so if you're paying attention to both channels, that might give you a clue. But we've got to get all the way through ending E. So fortunately, after playing through B, we got to play through it again for C. But then we don't have to play through the second half of the game again for D. You just reload and you get D. And then after that, your E playthrough is the entire game, but the whole game is different. So, looking forward to that. Take a break from that, do a little bit more Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm also working on compiling the entire Let's Play. So I did my Xenoblade Chronicles X playthrough live, the definitive edition, edited it down into Let's Play episodes, and now I'm doing the entire Let's Play series as one single sub-12-hour video that is a bit of a pain to edit, but we're getting there. I've covered the first 5 streams, or the first 5 episodes of the series, so only another 25 to parse through. And fortunately, the editing is not that bad, right? Because I've already edited them once for the episodes, so I'm just taking those finished, not even the finished videos, but the finished projects, because that way I have a little bit more control over how I edit them. And I'm just trimming the fat out, basically. Anything that isn't main story content, it just gets cut. So I think that'll be an interesting project. And I might start doing that with my live streams more, where I take the core of the stream, like whatever the goal is, try to craft episodes out of them. I feel like that might be a fun thing to do. But after we finish with Nier Replicant, we're going to do some, like all 5 endings, we're going to do a little bit more Xenoblade Chronicles. And then I wanted to do Wu Chang Fallen Feather. Now, by the time I get to it, it won't be a new game anymore, and most people won't care. But that's okay, because if you're not familiar with the meta of the channel, I don't play things that are new and will draw attention. I play what I want to. Sometimes that is a new thing and that gets attention, and sometimes it's not, so that's fine. After that, we're going to go to Nier Automata, which are Automatopia, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's a sequel to Nier Replicant that I think kind of stands on its own as its own story. I'm not sure. I believe it takes place in the same world, but even further into the future, I assume. I don't know. We'll find out when we get to it, but that's the plans on the LP channel. And oh, right, we were talking Switch 2. That's how we got on that topic. Well, Switch 2. There's really only 2 games on it that I care about. Every third-party title that is launched, first off, if a game is available on the Switch 2, but it's also available on PC, I'm just going to buy it on the PC. We've talked about this before. I'm not going to get into the whole thing again, but when you buy a game on a Switch 2, it lives and dies on the Switch platform. Maybe there's a Switch 3, and maybe it gets an update where it'll run better on the Switch 3 in the future. Maybe it's free, maybe it's paid for. But if you buy a game on Steam, you bought the game on Steam. Steam is the platform, and Steam is not hardware. Steam is anything that runs Steam. You buy a game on the Switch, you can play it on the Switch. You buy a game on Steam, I can play it on my Steam Deck, on my laptop, on my desktop. Okay, I can play it in the future on hardware that hasn't even been invented yet. If I decide to get, I've been thinking about getting an ROG Ally used, because you can get them for a pretty fair price. I'm waiting for SteamOS, because people have gotten it running. People have had Bazite running on it for the longest time, but people have gotten that running decently well. I'm waiting for it to mature a little bit more. But also, the Z2 Extreme is coming out, or is out, I don't know. And that should prove to be a much more powerful gaming handheld than even the current ROG Ally. You know, handhelds that have the Z2 Extreme. I believe it is out now. And so I'd like to get one of those. You know, a lot of people were talking about when the Switch 2 launched, there was this straw man argument. I'm calling it a straw man argument because the argument was, lol, Steam Deck holders claiming their handheld's more powerful than the Switch 2. And I literally never once heard a single person say that. I saw a bunch of people come out and say that people were saying that. I never heard anyone say that. The Steam Deck is older hardware. The Switch 2 is newer hardware. It's more efficient. It's an ARM-based processor, I'm pretty sure. And it's going to be more efficient. And it's going to have a lot of, does have a lot of NVIDIA secret sauce to do your upscaling and your frame duplication and all of that. Or not frame duplication, but frame multiplication. So the problem is not that it's more powerful than the Steam Deck. The problem is that it's locked in for the next 7 years, and there's new PC handheld hardware coming out every year. And so the Z2 Extreme will match or exceed it. The Z3 Extreme will exceed it, and it'll be exceeded time and time again. And the real issue is if you have a Steam Deck right now, you have a console that is not as powerful or more powerful. It's hard to compare side by side because they're different architectures with different capabilities. But the problem is that the Steam Deck is just more versatile. You can play whatever GameCube games Nintendo lets you play on your Switch 2, or you can play as far as I know, any GameCube game you want to on the Steam Deck. So, I mean, it is more versatile. I don't hate the Switch 2. I own the Switch 2. The point that I'm getting at here with this, slowly but surely, is that if a game exists on Switch 2 and a game exists on Steam, I'm buying it on Steam. The argument for me on Switch originally was that I didn't have a Steam Deck and I didn't want a gaming laptop. So if I bought a game on Steam, hey, there's something, or on Switch, I can play it on my Switch, handheld, on the go, or on the TV. That's why I bought Doom on the Switch. I own it on PC now too. But I bought it on the Switch because this is something I want to play on the go, and then occasionally throw up on the TV. It's how I 100%ed, in quotes, Outer Worlds, by which I mean I played through all of the quests. Every quest in the game I did on the Switch, the original Switch, because I didn't want to sit in front of my computer and do it. But I got a Steam Deck now. So the other argument for buying games on the original Switch was it's cool to have them physically. I've got a bunch of Switch games that I already owned on PC because I wanted them physically. But with game key cards and most games coming out, and that's 100% Nintendo's fault. All right, a lot of these studios would be using game carts if they could buy them in sizes other than 64 gigabytes. There's no 8 gig cart, there's no 32 gig cart, no 16 gig cart. It's just you can buy the 64 gig cartridge or you put it on a game key cart. I don't want a game key cart. That defeats the point of it being physical. The only advantage is that you can pop it out of your Switch and you can sell it, right? When you're done, if you buy a digital game, like a wholly digital game, it's just there forever. Whereas, yeah, with a game key cart, you can play it and then resell it. And that's cool and that adds some utility, but for the most part, I gotta tell you, I'm not intrigued. I'm not interested. So what do I have a Switch 2 for? Well, Nintendo makes games I want to play. They've just not made them yet. Like I said, Mario Kart World's cool, and I've had fun with it, but I'm not going back to it anytime soon. I'm probably not going to play it again until maybe some friends want to play it or something. But the only other game that's come out from Nintendo for this platform is Donkey Kong Bonanza Blast, which I'm sure is great, and I'll play it one of these days. But I'm not itching to play it. I'm not rushing out to get it. It doesn't intrigue me. Like, the magic is gone for me. And this is speaking as someone who was already a grown adult when the original Switch came out. Okay, when the original Switch came out, I just bought a house at that point. So I wasn't, like, blinded by childhood awe and wonder. I was an adult, but there was some magic there. I've talked about it. I'm not going to go into detail on it here. But I was excited about the Switch's launch because I just hit this point in my life where I don't know why. I was just like, I think it was because there's a lot of, let's theorize. Let's play armchair, or I guess computer chair psychiatrist on myself. Typically they say you shouldn't talk about things you don't know, and I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, or anything like that. But I'm talking about my own psyche, so I'm free to theorize and speculate however I want. Leave me alone. I would wager that at the time in my life, 2016, recently becoming a homeowner and having all of the burden of the debt and taking care of the house and dealing with all of that, it makes sense that I would long for the things of my youth. I am actually sitting back in my chair right now, by the way. I'm pondering. I've got a hand to my chin. I'm stroking my beard. I'm thinking about this. And it makes sense that I would long for something that comforted me, which is why I went out and I bought first a new 3DS XL. It was used. It was a used new 3DS XL because Nintendo's bad at naming things, historically. Wii U, hello. And I bought a bunch of Mario games on that. And then I ended up getting a Wii U and playing a couple of Mario games on that. But then also I got really invested in Zelda for the first time in my life. I played, in 2016, after getting the new 3DS XL, I played the original Legend of Zelda on it, following a guide online, because it's kind of a tricky game. I guess if you're a child and you have boundless time, that's one thing. But I was like, what? I've went in the cave and I found the sword, now what? It's dangerous to go alone, so I took the sword, now what? And I understood it. I got it. I saw why people liked it. My brother, Christmas 2016, got me Ocarina of Time for the 3DS, and that was it. I was done. I was into Zelda at that point. I was loving it. I played through almost all the 3D Zeldas. I did not finish Twilight Princess. I've told this story before the release of Breath of the Wild. And yeah, I'd gotten super invested, and I was like, I hope this console does well. I don't want Nintendo to go away, because now I like what they've done with Mario. I like what they're doing with Zelda. I want this console to be a success, so I was excited to go pick it up. And the first year with the Switch was a magical experience. It was wonderful. I enjoyed that so much. I had such a time with the original Nintendo Switch. Every game, it felt like every month there was a banger. I'm trying to remember now. I thought there was a time when I would never forget the... Okay, so March was Breath of the Wild. I'm pretty sure April, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out. I'm almost positive it was April. What else came out? ARMS in May, or no, ARMS was in June or July. I can't remember what the... Splatoon 2 came out at some point. That feels like an August title. I can't remember the exact dates of these, but every month some banger came out, right? I didn't get ARMS. I can't say that one was a banger. But you know what did come out that I loved immensely was Mario plus Rabbids. And when this game was originally rumored, I thought, this is a weird pair-up and I'm not happy about it. And then I saw the trailer for it and I was like, no, you know what? I take it all back. And then I got the game and it was such a blast, which is why I'm so bummed that the sequel didn't grab me the way that game did. I never finished the second world on the sequel. I got to go back to it one of these days. I'll probably restart it. But the first game was super fun. It was super intriguing, and I had a great time with it. And I enjoyed it immensely. I loved that game. And then, of course, at the end of that year, or towards the end of October, Mario Odyssey came out. And I had a plan. See, my family was going on a vacation, and my plan was to wait until December of that year when we were going to go on vacation. I was not going to play any Mario Odyssey until December, at which point I would play through the entire game on, the car trip. And that didn't happen. I got the game and started playing it immediately. And I don't think it was until, I played all the way through the campaign and everything, and then I came back to it the next year, so 2018, and I actually wrapped up getting all of the different moons and everything. People complained about, moons everywhere. It was so much fun. People who complain about that game are stupid. No one's actually upset about it. One person was upset about the number of moons and where they were, and they complained about it on the internet, and people who are too stupid to form their own opinions read that and were like, I guess that's true. I hated it too. It's the same people who complain about Spider-Man No Way Home. Everyone loved that movie, and he had one snarky reviewer on the internet being like, it's too much fan service. And then every brain-dead imbecile in the planet was like, I don't know how to form opinions. I guess they're right. It was actually not good. I enjoyed it immensely and would watch it again happily, but I guess it was actually bad. It wasn't bad. It was great. You're bad. Mario Odyssey, though, fantastic game. My favorite 3D Mario game, hands down. And that's coming from someone who really loves the Galaxy games. Okay? Odyssey, phenomenal game. And, unbeknownst to me, one of my favorite games of all time came out in 2017, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I wouldn't find out it was one of my favorite games of all time until 2020, but yeah, that game changed my life. Not really, but it was a lot of fun when I got around to it. And you know what? Going on through the years, I'll tell you what, starting when I rebooted the Howdy Folks LP channel, which was 2020, I guess. Or was it? No, that was 2022. Yeah, in 2022, I started I got a laptop. I got a MacBook, which... historically, I was very much like, why edit on a laptop? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, bring on the rain for the sad part of the story. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Get a desktop. It's more powerful. It has more cooling capacity, Listen, Apple Silicon changed everything. I can't imagine not editing on a laptop now, but I started bringing that to work. So instead of playing Switch on my downtime, which is what I was doing before that, I started editing videos, right? And thus began the downfall of me and my Switch time, because instead of I was editing constantly. Xenoblade Chronicles X, the original on the Wii U, is what I started off editing on the go, and I was like, this is great, but I don't think I want to edit all of my videos like this. But I would go on to every video I've edited since then has been edited on my laptop. The vast majority of them at work, some at home, the majority of them at work. It's just super convenient. And when I say at work, people get confused about that. I'm not at work, sneaking away to edit videos. It's just anytime we are in transport, transitioning between two locations, a weird way to describe that, I'm riding shotgun, I'm editing. Lunch break, eating as fast as I can, editing. That sort of thing. If I do eat lunch. Typically, I don't. I got back in the habit recently, which is not good. There was a time when I was fasting breakfast and lunch and only eating dinner, and I had weight falling off of my body like excess fat off of a fat man losing weight. Like snow melting off of a hot roof. I don't know. I'm not good at analogies. I'm not good at metaphors. But yeah, I need to get back into that because the weight's coming back with a vengeance. That's not relevant. What's relevant is I'm just not as excited about the Switch 2. And a lot of it is probably the circumstances of my life. I'll tell you what, the burden of owning a new house is not so bad with the excitement of owning a home. But you know what's worse than the burden of owning a new house? And I have it's not, I say burden. It's more so when you buy a house. If you've never owned a house before, you're like a young adult. You're feeling the weight of all this responsibility. I guess that's what it is. It's this suddenly like, I don't know what to do. That goes away. And what it replaces it is this dull, constant headache of everything that's wrong. I finally got the termites in my house sprayed. I have to wait. It takes 9 months to kill them all. Well, no, it doesn't. If you look online for people who get the fipronil treatment, and that's your Termidor or your Taurus SC, you will find results of people being like, yeah, all termite activity stopped within 3 days. And they immediately start like tearing apart the walls, and all the termites are either dead or gone. And that's great. But it can take up to 3 months. So I'm not going to start disassembling my bedroom wall when there might still be termites. Gross. I'm going to wait at least, I've decided to wait half that time. I'm going to wait 45 days. And then I'm going to start removing the trim, which is where I initially noticed, like, oh, that's a weird spot. Why does that look like it's a hollow bubble? And then that's what I ended up tapping, and it fell off. And what happened next was termite guards came out, the soldiers, and they started thunking their tails, going click, 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 click. And I was like, whoa, no! I've seen people concerned. Now, once you have termites, your house is toast. That's not typically how it works. It depends on when you find out. I mean, if you don't notice for a long time, yeah, it can get really bad. I caught them pretty early based on where I found them and where the damage was. My theory right now, I also went up in the attic, right? My theory is that they're in one wall and one section of the wall. I think they went up a 2x4 in the wall, and then they went across the trim, because the trim would have been tasty and delicious. I think that's where I caught them. This is not the first time I've had termites. I've had termites before, and they were worse the first time, but even then they weren't bad. I traced the termites the first time I had them. I traced a very interesting pattern where they came in one wall, went up the wall, across the attic, and then down through the central return duct for my AC. And I'm like, what a weird route to take. Why? What are you doing? But they didn't do a whole lot of damage. They just did damage along the way. But it's not the end of the world. And that was at the other end of the house. And so that got treated, and that's good for, they say 10 years. I'll tell you what I realized the other day. It's been 6. That was 2019. That was 6 years ago. That's crazy. But I just got to keep an eye out, see if I see any new, like, as that soil and the treatment in the soil ages, just keep my eye out, see if I see any shoots. And I'll tell you what, I would not have termites if I did what I did the first time I had them. Because the first time I had them, right after the treatment, I was diligent. I was going around outside constantly, cleaning up around the base of my house, around the foundation, sweeping stuff away, always inspecting to see if I see any termite shoots. They're obvious. They're little tunnels of dirt that go up the foundation, but I, as a homeowner, I got lazy. I was not being responsible, and I allowed pine needles to build up on one side of the house and obscure the foundation. And that's where they went in. That's how they got into my wall. I'm mad at myself for it. I'm going to do better this time, though. Keep it up for this time. So I'm going to be diligent about that and getting retreatment as is required. But I'm also planning on, after I start demoing... Why am I talking about termites? I'm going to demo the wall. I'm going to see how bad the damage is. I'm going to repair it. I'm not going to try. There's no try. Do or do not. And I'm treating the whole thing with Boracare. I actually already got Boracare. Boracare is a wood treatment. It's not fipronil-based. It's a little different. Termites can't exist on it or eat into wood with it. So when I went up into the attic to inspect for termite damage, while I was up there, I went ahead and sprayed that side of the attic, the wood up there, with this Boracare stuff. And it was miserable. It was hot. I had to wear a like a respirator, not just a mask, but a full respirator and goggles. And I was like cramped up there. It was hot. And I'm spraying this stuff around, and I kept saying, "You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it," because I felt like Bane for whatever reason. But that area is good. Now I'm going to do that in the walls as well. So eventually, this entire house is going to be remodeled by me, one room at a time, I guess, and then I'll die, and someone else will buy the house, and they won't care about the work that I did. And they'll cook up meth in the oven and OD in my bedroom. And then my ghost is going to appear before them. They're going to say, "Are you here to take me to heaven?" And I'm going to say, "No. No, I'm not. I'm here to haunt your ghosts. Because I'm making your ghost stay here and I'm going to bully you." That's not going to happen. Nor would it. When I'm gone from this plane of existence, I'm not coming back. I'm not lingering. I'm ready to go dwell within the halls of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ forever and ever. Amen. And I'm not going to be worrying about what's happening around here. Who's going to be cooking up meth in it? I hope they're not cooking up. No one's cooking up meth in this house. It's not going to happen. I don't know why that's what came to mind. But yeah, no, I'm not too worried. It's all going to be fine. At the end of the day, like, that's what you learn. After the tree fell on my house, I had that initial maybe like 2 or 3 hours of like, oh my gosh, followed by, it's going to be fine, you know. This too shall pass, as the Bible says. God is with me. His rod and his staff comfort me. Everything is fine. But maybe that plays into my opinion on the Switch too. I'm no longer this young man seeking comfort in the things of my youth. I'm an old man. And when I became a man, I put childish things behind me, as they say, as I fish in Minecraft. I suppose there's a bit of irony in that. I suppose it's possible you might be able to point to a little bit of irony in that, which is always fun. We love a good bit of irony. But I think I've just about had my fill of fishing. Let's see what all we got. So, wow, okay. There's actually quite a few things in our inventory here. Let's take stock of them. Let's do a quick sort. So first off down here, Lure 2 and Mending. And then Luck of the Sea 3 and Unbreaking 3. Wow! Isn't that's basic? Wait a minute, that's exactly what we had on Harbinger. Remember when we made the new one, like at the beginning of the episode? And we merged it with Harbinger of the Depths. Well, there it is. Luck of the Sea 3 and... Or was it Luck of the Sea 3? Yeah. That's crazy. And then Lure 2 and Mending. That's... That's almost the inverse of this one. This one had Lure 3 and Luck of the Sea 2. And if we combine these together, we'll have the Mending and the Unbreaking, same as this one, but then we'll have Luck of the Sea 3 and Lure 2. So it's just Lure and that's crazy. That is crazy. Sharpness 3, not bad. Punch, Luck of the Sea 2, and Quick Charge. Power 3 and Fire Aspect, all very good. We got 2 name tags. A bunch of bows. I think that's just our current bow. Well, that's confusing. So that one also has Infinity and Flame and Power 4, which is nice, but it's almost broken, and I don't know what to do about that. Not sure if you could do anything about that, except for maybe combine it with Punch 1 and try to get like a more repair. Well, I mean, there's options. There's options for sure. 3 tropical fish could be worse. We got 25 raw salmon, 14 puffer fish. We already had steak in our inventory. 60 cod. 2 nautilus shells, a bowl, some leather, a saddle, assuming I just got those things, leather boots, water bottle. All in all, not a bad haul. All in all, not a bad haul. Pretty happy to get these items in my inventory, and happy to talk about, like, basically nothing. I want to throw out there that I do understand that this video was essentially an episode about nothing. We didn't really, like, did we come to any conclusions about the Switch 2? I will buy Donkey Kong Bonanza Blast, or whatever it's called. I think it's just Donkey Kong Bonanza, isn't it? I keep adding Blast. Is that even in the title? Did I make that up? I'll buy it eventually. I'll play through it at some point, you know? We'll see. Maybe. I make no promises on that front, but I'm a little bit intrigued. I'm waiting for Xenoblade Chronicles 4 or Xenoblade Chronicles X2. Or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Deluxe Edition. Any of those would be swell. I'd be well and truly down for any of them. Cod And salmon. Has anyone ever screamed, "Oh my cod," in relation to the fish? I don't know what that would even be. Has anyone ever screamed, "Oh my cod," as in related to Call of Duty? That's just as dumb. I don't know why you would do that. We need to automate honeycombs. Is that a put it off till Thursday kind of a thing? Or is that a Project Tuesday sort of thing? I guess you're going to find out soon. These have utility. We might combine them together at some point to make a better overall fishing pole. Not better than Harbinger of the Depths, naturally, because they don't get better than that. But you know what I mean. Just like a new fishing pole that is better than the two of those. This will never be of worth or value. Rip in peace. I appreciate our saddle collection is growing. It's looking good. I don't like that that moves up there. I still don't know what to do with these. Hold on, does that look interesting upside down? That might actually look more interesting upside down. It looks like a brain sucker sort of a thing in a video game where you walk underneath it and it's going to suck you up. I need to figure out what to do. Comment down below if you know what to do with that stuff, because I think it all has a purpose. I don't know what you can do with it. I know you can build like a shulker something, because we looked it up before. It's like maybe I'm wrong. Is that not what it's called? Is it not called? It's not called shulker. It's called a skulk. That's what it is. A skulk sensor. But why, though? Should I just look it up? A calibrated skulk sensor is a craftable variant of the skulk sensor. Like its counterpart, it detects vibrations, but it has twice the range and can detect multiple vibrations in quick succession. It outputs a signal to all sides except it for its input, which can receive power to make the sensor listen only to specific vibrations, depending on the input signal's strength. Oh, weird. This is cool. It looks like it can be used to do like automations when players or other things come near it, but I don't know exactly how I would go about using that. If you have any recommendations on how we can integrate these sort of skulky things into our lives, for our the improvement of our world and our gameplay experience, please comment down below and let me know. This is a genuine request. How can we utilize them? Oh, I set that there so I wouldn't forget to take it back. All right, folks. Until next time, thank you all for watching. God bless you. Thank you for putting up with my rambling, and I will see you all tomorrow for a bit of a Manic Monday, where we go decorate another portal. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.